父がいるウルトラの母がいるそして太郎がここにいる空を見ろ星を見ろ宇宙を見ろ彼方から迫り来る赤い色
Hello, you are listening to Ultra Q episode 82. My name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
Hey everyone, it's me, Mel. Or as my parents like to call me, Zoffy, for some reason.
Yeah. Also joined by Brad.
You want to hear a joke about a moth?
No.
Yeah, sure.
So a moth goes into a podiatrist's office.
Okay.
And the podiatrist's office says, "What seems to be the problem, moth?" And the moth says, "What's the problem?" "Well, where do I begin, man? I go to work for Gregory Ilinovich, and all day long I work. Honestly, Doc, I don't... Oh, you know what? I said Doc wrong. I don't even want to do this joke anymore. I said it like Doc. I can't commit to this.
Where is this even going?
Oh, do you not know the joke? I can continue.
Continue.
Please continue. You've committed. Please continue. Embarrass yourself fully.
So the moth says, "I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I don't even know if Grigory Ilinovich knows. He only knows that he has power over me, and that seems to bring him happiness. But I don't know. I wake up in a malaise, and I walk here and there. At night, I sometimes wake up and I turn to some old lady in my bed that's on my arm, a lady that I once loved, Doc. I don't know where to turn to. My youngest, Alexandria, she fell in the cold of last year. The cold took her down, as it did many of us. And my other boy, and this is the hardest pill to swallow, Doc, my other boy, Grigaro Ilinitovich, I no longer love him. As much as it pains me to say, when I look at his eyes, all I see is the same cowardice that I catch when I take a glimpse of my own face in the mirror. If only I wasn't such a coward, then perhaps I could bring myself to reach over to that cocked and loaded gun that lays on the bedside behind me and end this hellish facade once and for all. Doc, sometimes I feel like a spider, even though I'm a moth, just barely hanging onto my web with an everlasting fire underneath me. I'm not feeling good." And so the doctor says, "Mothman, you're troubled, but you should be seeing a psychiatrist. Why on earth did you come to me?" And the moth says, "Well, because the light was on."
Hey.
It's a classic joke from Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
Thank you. I now understand.
Welcome to Ultra Q. We have got 3 more episodes of Taro for you today. One of them is a two-parter. Surprise two-parter. As we visit... Today on Ultra Q, we are visiting the Land of Ultra for the first time. Not the Land of Light. Is it the Land of Light or is it the Land of Ultra?
I think it's supposed to be the Land of Light.
I'm assuming it's the Land of Light.
They keep calling it the Land of Ultra, not the Land of Light. So I'm like, is there a difference?
Is there a nation?
Maybe. It's their nation. Here's the thing. It was in the process of watching this episode that I realized why they were asking for submissions for Land of Light designs, and I was like, oh no, you did not let the audience decide what the Land of Light looked like, did you?
Oh, they did.
Oh no. So yeah, that is all to come. But before we get to let me try that sentence again. Before we get to any of that, we got our usual bullshit. I'm not going to go first this time. I'm going to let someone else go first this time. Who wants to go first?
I want to go first.
You can go first.
Okay.
So, I have 2 things this week for all of you.
2 things.
Neither of them are Ergo Proxy, hilariously enough.
Okay.
I have 2 episodes left. Nothing has changed from my opinions last time, which is fuck, this show really needed to get to the, like, you know, weird cyborg vampire, or, yeah, not only cyborg, but, like, cyberpunk vampire of the week adventure wacky storytelling that the second half is all about, because it's so much better than the first half. And I hope the ending is good. I'm kind of worried that when we go back to the show being about, like, the capital P plot, I'm going to stop caring again a little bit. But until that happens, I'm enjoying the ride.
Nice.
So I guess I did end up talking about Ergo Proxy anyways, fuck me. But I ended up reading all of Muv Luv Unlimited.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you described in our Abyss stream yesterday, you no-lifed it.
I no-lifed this visual novel so hard. It helps that this one... So, unlike Extra, which has 5 different, like, main routes you can go down based on which of your, you know, classmates you want to romance or whatever, Unlimited is so it does also have separate routes. It's mostly the same story, though. And then there's a hidden ending that teases alternative that you can unlock after you've done one other ending. So most people online just say, because they're so similar, just actually pick the person you want to romance, do their route, get that secret ending, and then you're fine. You don't, unless you're really curious about what's happening with the others, because 95% of the story is the same, you can just do the one. So Muv Luv Unlimited is the part of Muv Luv that's actually about mechs. The frustrating part about this visual novel is that all of the cool things that made me blown away and genuinely fall in love with this thing, I don't feel like I can talk about. But I see. I can at least get halfway there. So the basic premise is that our main character, lovable kind of teenage dirtbag, but has his heart in the right place when, you know, it gets down to it, Shirogane Takeru, wakes up just like it's another average day in his hometown as depicted in Muv Luv Extra. Except something's different. His childhood best friend Sumika, poster girl of Muv Luv, the franchise, doesn't wake him up this morning, which she's done every day since they were little kids. And he goes, "Huh, that's weird. Oh, you know what? I bet she slept in. It would be really funny if I go over to her house and wake her up for a change. Wouldn't that be a wacky little adventure to go on?" So he goes downstairs, he opens the door, and his town is fucking destroyed. And his neighbor's house isn't there. Instead, there's a giant destroyed robot. And he goes, "Okay, I'm in a dream. This is stupid. Let's go to school." Only to find that his school has turned into a United Nations military base. And he gets the shit kicked out of him by 2 soldiers that are like, "Show your civilian ID." And he's like, "What are you talking about? I'm a student here." He then realizes he is extremely not in a dream. And ends up getting roped in with the United Nations military as a mecha cadet. Piloting one of the tactical surface fighters, as they're called in this universe. And he is reacquainted with the majority of the cast of Muv Luv Extra, but they don't know who the fuck he is. And by all accounts, he has stumbled his way onto an alternate history universe that diverges way earlier than I expected. Like, very early on, you learn that the main divergence point seems to be somewhere in World War II, where Japan has a conditional surrender instead of an unconditional surrender. So, like, the Imperial family is still there. Japan did not get nuked. And, like, they still lost the war, but they had more, like, leverage and, like, American influence was not as, like, heavy pressed upon them as it was at the end of World War II in our history. And then from there, you learn about how humanity came into conflict with an alien species known as the Beta, which were discovered on Mars.
Thank God they're called the beta.
I
I was worried for a second. Oh, I gotta fight aliens? Oh, betas? Yeah, no problem.
Don't worry, we'll get Shu Ishido after it.
I need to find what the beta, because it's beta all caps, and it's beings of extraterrestrial origin, which is adversary.
Fantastic.
That's what it stands for.
That's such a fucking Gundam Seed acronym.
I think it's funny that the
incredible.
protagonist of Muv Luv is also voiced by Kira.
Yes, and hey, okay, that guy can actually act. I discovered while reading this video.
I know this because he also is the protagonist in Higurashi, where he can also act.
He's just a VN guy deep down, it seems. Don't give him the anime role.
Well, what I'm hearing is you just need to not give him Kira Yamato.
or that. He cries in this VN, and I felt moved, not embarrassed.
He cries normal?
Yes.
He cries normal?
I mean, does that in Higurashi too?
Well, wow. I mean, that is in the title.
I
know.
I can only determine this must be a character tick he decided to give Kira. That he tries
either that or Fukuda was very insistent. He was like, "No, I need you to cry crazy weird."
Yes. So, it's very quickly discovered by Yuko, who is the head. So, in the extra universe, she was your physics teacher, who ominously talks about like VN sci-fi concepts like Schrodinger's cat and causality and other fun things. And it's like, okay, I see what you're picking up here, Muv Luv. But in this reality, she like everyone else doesn't know what the hell's going on, but she's like the head of like the science research division of this UN base, and she has like top level security clearance. And she's like, okay, mysterious boy who just wandered in and's gotten captured. I believe your story about you coming from a different universe. I'm gonna enroll you here as a cadet, but you have to listen to everything I say. So that's kind of like the core central premise of this. Again, he gets reacquainted with all of his old classmates, but they're like, this is more hardened versions of them because they have grown up in a like basically a post-apocalyptic world where humanity's been fighting aliens the whole time. But the one noticeable absence is that Sumika's nowhere to be found. Instead, he wanders into a room that has a giant brain in a jar, with the girl named Kasumi watching over it. And I went, okay.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know anything about that. We're going to be saving that for the third game, apparently. But it's very funny early on. He's just like, damn, I can't find my childhood best friend anywhere. And then he walks into a room with a brain in a jar, and I laughed my ass off. So on the nose. But I was really worried going into Unlimited because the story I had heard, the narrative I had heard about Muv Luv, the trilogy, this entire time from people outside of my core friend group, I would say, is that Extra is the dumb bullshit slice of life one, anime bullshit hijinks, harem protagonist shit that you have to stomach and get through to get to the good stuff that starts with Unlimited. And as I played Extra and kind of fell in love with that game, I was like, no, this is actually just like a really good romance story, with a really strong cast. And like, I think people that go in, like, I can understand how someone going in wanting to experience some mech war story thing would be like, you know, not into it. But I was just like, if you give it like an honest chance, I genuinely think just like a really solid romance VN. And I was a little worried going into Unlimited, like, oh no, is all of that going to be gone? However, what quickly became apparent to me is that this Muv Luv Unlimited is a thing that you will often come across in military fiction, where it's not really about the war, it's about the boot camp. This is mid-2000s mecha anime jarhead.
Right. This is like Starship Troopers, like
doing
old
my
school
part.
Starship Troopers. What was that, Mel?
Oh, I'm doing my part.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
we are doing our part.
It's all like the training stuff predominantly. And it's going through a lot of the same core emotional loops of Extra, but with alternate versions of the characters that then becomes more about like trust and camaraderie, and having problems that you as a group of friends need to solve. And part of that is being honest with yourselves and with each other about where each of your weaknesses lie, and being able to cover for other people and not be shitty about it. And it's kind of taking that idea of getting closer to someone in like a romantic and loving sense and kind of twisting that to be more appropriate for a military setting in a way that I thought was really impressive and really good. There's still quite a bit of romance, especially towards the end of this. And it kind of becomes more broadly about like, okay, getting close to someone, accepting them who they are, and then becomes a little bit more internal about fighting to protect people and things that you care about, and what does it actually mean to sacrifice for like things that you actually love and what are most important to you. Like from the beginning of this VN, it's about a high school boy who lived a very sheltered and like, you know, average, like, you know, middle class life or whatever, realizing, hey, even back in my old reality, there's a lot of people on the earth I came from that every day is like a life and death struggle for them. And like, I had it good. And him questioning, do I have it in me to like sacrifice everything I have to fight for what I believe in? And the way that again, I'm kind of getting to the territory where I'm like worried I don't want to say too much.
I will probably be reading these one day. So.
Yes. What I will say is that I was very impressed with how this goes beyond what I would expect from the typical like shonen demographic, like anime or VN theme of that, and gets a little more honest and grounded about what that actually means in someone's day-to-day life. And the reason I fell in love with Muv Luv Unlimited is twofold. Is that it's very powerful in both what it chooses to depict as well as it chooses to not depict. Like, what it gives screen time to and what it just references in passing and just allows to be given to the narration. And also, without saying anything, maybe one of the strongest endings to anything I've seen in a while. And it just gave me this feeling I fell in love with, which I knew I was getting towards the end of the VN, and I was just bewildered by, like, how the fuck does this end? Like, I had no possible way of figuring out, like, what exactly does the conclusion of this look like? And when I got there, I was like, this is amazing. And I understand now why it became a meme that waiting for Alternative was suffering, because there was a 3-year gap between Unlimited and Alternative, and I would have died. I don't understand how people could wait that long, because there are so many hooks that are set up in this game of things that are off about the setting that are just completely left open, and they're like, yeah, you're just gonna need to wait for the next one to get any closure on this. But yeah, Unlimited's amazing, and I haven't started Alternative yet just because the holidays are coming up soon, so I'm not going to be able to play it even if I started it. But like, even beyond that, I just kind of want to sit with the ending of Unlimited for a bit because it really affected me. Like, I genuinely, like, got choked up during the final part, like, the final hour or so of this VN, in a way that I didn't really think, even though I loved Muv Luv Extra, I didn't really think that this material had it in itself to maybe reach for what it ends up reaching for, and I just came away thoroughly impressed with it, so... yeah,
Nice.
Fucking read Muv Luv. I love it.
Yeah.
I genuinely think it is... Considering its contemporaries are like Seed Destiny and Code Geass, I was like, this is just running circles around the shit that was on TV at the time in terms of mecha fiction. It's incredible.
I guess this is why VN fans are like that.
Yes. See, I'm gonna be that guy who's like, yeah, Muv Luv Alternative is the best thing ever written.
So you'll have that in common with the Attack on Titan writer.
Yes.
You have to check back with him and tell us how he got there.
Listen, morons can have good taste.
I'm curious too, because I think Alternative is where all the Attack on Titan shit comes from.
Yeah,
so.
I'm pretty sure that's how it is.
So yeah, excited about that. We'll see how I do getting through Alternative, because I know that Alternative is as long as all of Extra and Unlimited put together.
Yeah.
Maybe even perhaps a little bit longer, too.
Oh, yeah. Like, extra and Unlimited are like one package.
Yeah.
And Alternative's like a different game.
Yes. So, yeah, I am thoroughly a Muv Luv head now.
You're a Muv lover.
Exactly. Yes. I would like not be surprised if I spend a good majority of 2025 just going through the rest of Muv Luv and all of its spin-offs. I'm
curious about the spin-offs, because it sure seems
committed.
like the case where there's a lot of these. Are you sure you can get that much blood from the stone?
I believe it, especially like looking at the titles of the spin-offs. They all seem to be based on one of the core 3 like entries, and I could see how you could extrapolate those out.
Okay.
To having more stuff to do.
I think like 2 of them stood out to me are like the what are they called, photon whatever ones. Those look like the extra core.
Well, so Photon. Actually, this is an annoying thing I should talk about. So there's 2 collections of like short side stories that used to be like fan discs or like supplementary discs that were like put out at like small markets and stuff.
Yeah.
Back in the 2000s, and they're collected in Photon Memories and Photon Flowers.
Yeah.
And the problem is that if you want to be like me and play things in the order that they originally came out in, you would technically, I think, need to jump between those 2 collections. I'm not going to do that.
Don't do that.
Don't
do that.
That's not how it is.
When I get to The Way of Kings, really, I should be hopping between that and like second era Mistborn if I wanted to do it like in order. Fuck that. Absolutely fuck off. Yeah. No, not happening.
The person who goes between episodes of TNG and Deep Space Nine.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Galaxy Brain.
Yeah, the Galactic Federation.
And also too something weird about Muv Luv stuff that I didn't know. There's a lot of this stuff that, like, a lot of the stuff I own on my Steam library, because, like, there's just a big franchise bundle that often goes on sale, and you can get, like, everything for relatively cheap. And a lot of that stuff, like, they are VNs, but they weren't VNs first. Like, some of them were light novels that then became anime that were then adapted into a VN. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm much more used to the other way around that process, but I mean, I guess it makes sense if the original trilogy is VN to like have everything available in that format, but yeah.
All right.
I got one more thing.
Okay, go for it.
I have watched 19 episodes of Space Runaway Ideon since we last podcasted.
The fuck?
Yeah. One of my friends
fell down a hole, huh?
Yeah, one of my friends recently, like, completed it, and I was like, you know, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Space Runaway Ideon. Perhaps one of the best ever made. I should just watch it again.
I think the moment I truly fell in love with Ideon, I think you'll have repassed it again, was when Bess and Cosmo were having a conversation, and then got into an elevator, and the conversation kind of heated up a little bit, and then started having a fist fight and beat the shit out of each other in an elevator, and then one of them walks out just like, yeah, see ya.
I like that in the slap fight.
Oh,
the slap fight's great.
But also episode 1 does have the moment of Bess seeing the Ideon in truck form and just laughing at it, because it's like, what, you told me you dug this up?
It's what an amazing show. I like.
Thank you for your feedback. Be invoked.
Yeah, true. I like the only conclusion I can come to is that Tomino wrapped up Gundam and, like, you know, wrote the bit at the end where, like, Amuro has his, like, elegant transformation of, like, psychic ability where he saves all of his friends and shit, and was like, maybe I made this show too much about this one guy. What if I spread the love around a little bit? And like I really love how decentralized the show is. Like it really feels like the camera is afraid to linger on any given individual for too long, except if the episode is about them, in which case they get some extra love.
It's really my kind of like, it's really, when I talk about like the thing, you know, end of Evangelion and like the attack on the nerve base and how weird and sort of jarring the level of violence is because they don't have an ensemble cast to do the attack on the solo ship. You can't just kill a named character every 5 minutes and keep going. So yeah, Ideon's just got, it's just like this whole huge, you got the main guys, you've got like a really good like supporting cast, and then you've got some side characters who aren't really relevant, but they do have names, and you know, some of them are great, like Jolliver.
Shoutouts to Jolliver.
Shoutouts to Jolliver.
Guy with like strange outsized importance in the final episode.
Like, so you telling me we got Duncan Idaho in Space Runaway Ideon?
Of course we do.
And
this is like, the same director who put fucking. Oh, I'm blanking on the name.
You'll get there.
Done by.
What are you going for?
Shot weapon.
Shot weapon.
Shot weapon.
Shot weapon's good.
But like there's so many little details and just like things that like there's the episode where they just go to an ape planet and they're just hanging out and doing the average Ideon like, okay, we're fighting here thing. But then there's just this crowd of apes watching and like really good shots of like monkeys staring up from a tree branch at the solo ship as it's taking off for space. And like it's obviously like it's pulling from 2001 a bit, like clearly, but like
I mean it's
still
the thing where like where they're traveling around the galaxy and kind of like going through evolution as they do, like in the background.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Like, the planets they go to could be anything.
Sometimes it's all crystal and weird bat monsters.
Yeah. I wish Orcus is more like that.
Oh, damn.
Anyway.
But yeah, Ideon's great. You should watch it, listener, if you haven't.
Yeah. I would like to say that I have not listened to the Detour Quarry episodes of August on the weirdly optimistic idea that maybe one day I'd watch August. I don't know why I'm holding on to that idea. Of course, I'm not going to do that. But also, I really appreciate it's really, really good energy on a final episode of a podcast about a show, and the title is just What?
That was my reaction to seeing the ending.
I see.
What's got to happen now is that Red in like a year we have to watch Orgus and also do a Detour Quarry on it, and then at the end we compare to see how they lined up.
That'd be really funny.
We should convene before the recording to agree that that we're just gonna say that it's a really good show, and then we'll load it on April Fools, and then Mel will listen to it and go, "What the fuck happened?"
I'd be curious to hear what you think.
But yes, Space Runaway Ideon, good show.
Yeah.
I have the fucking Ideon plamo. I'm looking up at it in my closet. I need to build it.
Nice.
But
I need to buy an Ideon something or other.
Yeah, I can actually even hold on.
I don't collect anything. I don't do that. I'm good.
You're living a better
happy.
life.
I'm happy.
Hey, guess who had a Muv Luv model kit arrive at my doorstep just yesterday?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I wanted a Fubuki.
Wait, what? Oh, you want... Wait.
Is
that what they're called, or do you mean you wanted a model of Fubuki?
Okay. All of the mechs in Muv Luv are named after real-life aircraft.
Okay, okay.
So.
Okay. But you said I wanted a Fubuki, and I was
there's my closet.
The Hololive invasion has begun already.
Oh, hey, actually, thank you for reminding me. The HoloCure update came out.
Oh.
Oh my god.
It's pretty good, that's all I have to say about that.
Nice. I hear they added Jump King for Callie.
I did also. I don't know how you access that, but I do know
they
did
that
that.
the monster from the end of Ace?
Yes. Yep. Jump King. That's
He
him.
did get jumped.
He did get
He
shot.
did get jumped.
I also need to build my Shoku.
Shoku's a really good kid. It just looks nice. I don't even
cool.
want to put paint lines on it just because I feel like it looks clean as it is.
Mel, what have you been up to?
I haven't been up to much, but I did finish a movie in the past week.
You did?
Yeah. Pairing off Kingdom of Heaven by going to watch another movie that Red brought up on the podcast before. I watched the 1961 movie El Cid.
Hell yeah!
First of all, I wanted the record straight, and an apology from the Wikipedia article. During the late 1950s, Samuel Bronston had established his own production studio in Madrid, Spain. To strengthen cordial ties to the Spanish government ruled by Francisco Franco, Bronston began developing a biographical film of El Cid.
Oh my god. Okay, well, I will take that L.
Second of all, more importantly,
yeah.
I have two primary thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
One, some things are weirdly resonant with the mid-2000s movie by Ridley Scott, where I'm just like, yeah, I can see Orlando's Bloom character or like Baldwin in El Cid, played by Charles Branston.
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston.
I think.
Yeah, that's
the one.
That's his name. Sorry, the movie. Rodrigo or whatever.
Oh yes.
Uh,
I can't remember his name, but when I played the tutorial of Crusader Kings 2 and I spotted him in someone else's court, I was like, oh, that's him. That's
him.
my guy.
Yeah.
I'm having him. That's El Cid. And I checked, I was like, is that El Cid? I checked his martial ability and it was like 30 and I was like, that's fucking El Cid.
Yeah. Second thought, this movie's fucking bonkers.
It's insane.
Like, one.
The first half is deranged about relationships.
Yes.
And the second half is a special kind of deranged about Islam.
Yeah, but also the monarchy.
Also yes, naturally.
Because you got... Well, as you said before, it's like the Moors of Spain, or Al-Andalus. I don't want to give them I don't want to give them that W. That they got historic. But anyway.
Don't worry. As soon as I get around to it, I'll be undoing that W.
Please, decolonization now. So you have the Moors and the Christians must unite against the fanatical,
the evil Muslims.
The evil Muslims. The Almohads or Almoravids, one of those two from Morocco, who do crucifixions apparently.
That's cool.
Seem to, I don't know, when they're like, "Oh, our God won over your God," I'm like, "Isn't it the same? Isn't it the same one?" But not important apparently. But you also have like Sid's the weird shit where he's like he frees the Muslims and becomes their friends, just like Orlando Bloom in Kingdom of Heaven. But also he kills his to-be father-in-law in a duel, which makes his to-be fiance hate him for about 1 hour of runtime of the movie, and plan to kill him. And he's like so committed to them still being married for some reason, even though she's like, "I want to kill you."
They get married and they're having dinner afterwards, and he's like, "Yeah, someone tried to kill me like the other day," and she's like, "Yeah, I asked him to do that."
Yeah, and he's like his way of doing it and making it happen is so, well, technically I guess evil in a way, where he's just like,
"Oh yeah, King, can you give me that woman?"
Yeah, can you give me that woman? Because technically, I killed her dad, so I feel responsible for not having a home, and now I want to give her my home and get married. And the King's like, "Yeah."
The King's like, "Yeah, man. You're like my coolest guy. Yeah, sure. Whatever you want."
Once I get tribute from the Moors, I'll come back and we'll be married.
Hey, listen, if I was, if my spy master found that he was scheming to, like, take in some poor woman, I was like, listen, whatever keeps him happy. He's my guy. He wins all my wars for me.
Yeah. And then you have, like, his, like, weird fixation on honor to the monarchy, even though the monarchy is clearly not giving a shit.
Yes, this is, like, the thing with the, like, Legend of El Cid, is, like, he is, like, the epitome of, like, a duty-bound knight, because he'd
fit right in Shuhan.
Yes. His whole thing is that, he manages to, like, through, like, his strength of will and honor, he's all about threading the needle on doing the right thing without breaking any of his codes, because he is duty bound to a king who has betrayed and killed the previous king, or like the king of the other. It's the Gavelkind. Don't worry about it.
When I saw that happen, I was like, damn, they should have just let them fight it out so Red could fix history.
Yeah.
And instead, Steel rolls onwards to new frontiers. I wasn't expecting him to, like, not become king of Valencia, because I thought that was what he was. But also, I have heard that this movie isn't entirely historically accurate.
Yeah, there's a couple, it's like, obviously the thing with El Cid's, like, epic poem or whatever, he's got, like, there's a big old legend about El Cid, and it is, I think you might be able to read it. Yeah,
probably.
I think it's still accessible.
Yeah.
It's like, none of it's magical, it's all kind of real, but, like, also, legend building around history is a thing even without magic. You don't need magic to fake shit. Just look at all the stuff that they attribute to Cao Cao in Three Kingdoms. True. The thing with he's like the law. He is. I feel like he does become, like, the ruler of Valencia, but I don't know about king. I know that, like, his nickname is, like, given to him by Mus, because, like, El Cid is, like, derived from something like El Said or something. It means, like, the Lord.
They like the all the various Muslim characters are like, "Are you the Cid?" And I'm like, me when I'm looking at the cast list of a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah. So yes, he's got his. Him, like, ruling, like, pluralistic Valencia. The particular thing about this movie where it's like, because you've got, like, two, like, Orientalist, like, racist ideas about Islam in the brain. I feel
like people are wearing brown face in this movie too.
Oh yes, absolutely they are. There's because you've got, like, the idea of, like, the Islam of wisdom, of science, the golden age of Islam, and that's all given to, like,
the sort of, like, exoticization and, like, uplifting of Al-Andalus in particular.
Yes, and there's the in particular incredible scene where Charlton Heston sees a guy eating with a fork, picks up a fork, stabs it into some chicken, and declares, "You'll make a Muslim of me yet."
Oh my god,
it's fantastic. But then you've got the other idea of what Muslims are, which is the evil sort of, like, they do not like, there's so restrictive, and they're coming to invade. It's,
and they're
like,
wearing black.
They're wearing all black. They're all really weird and mysterious. And it's this weird thing where, like, I'm sure there's a lot of fiction in the legend of El Cid, but in theory, there's nothing that objectionable about fighting off an invading force. However, when you make the invading force into like the avatars of every Western paranoia about Islam,
Yeah.
it becomes way objectionable.
Yeah. And you have like all the different stuff of like the kings of Castile are like very adamant about no quarter to the Moors, which
Yes.
who they'd expel when they actually controlled the entire peninsula.
Mhm.
And also you have like just like the weird funny. Well, first of all, that one first son fucking dies like an idiot.
Yes.
It's like, hey, let's go around this corner. Don't worry, it's fine. We'll go alone.
It'll just be me and you. It'll be
Just
chill.
go on ahead. But also just like, the guy's like the most dirtbag son, and then the more innocent, I guess, ish son is innocent. He's totally like has nothing to do with this, but he just feels so pissed off that like Elsa was like, hey, please do on the Bible so people can trust you. That he's like, well, actually, I'm gonna banish you until the end of the movie when we're cool again.
We're cool, yeah.
Because he gave me the crown of Valencia.
It's that duty. It's that honor.
Yeah.
It's a crazy movie.
It's wild. Lots of gaps because in old movies, just lots of gaps of like, well, I can fast forward on the player because it's just saying intervention.
Oh yes.
Bring them back.
Bring back the intermissions. Play the. Oh, I do like. Is it Kingdom of Heaven? The director's cut does open with an overture, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is fucking movies, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, Kingdom of Heaven definitely has its own weird takes that feel unique. But less whiplash inducing than like this movie.
It's weird. It's like
what year
like
was I mean, Charlton Heston, so it's old, but
it's 61.
Yeah, 61. This is like it's weird that like because it's already like when you're talking about El Cid and his era, you're talking about an era of the Reconquista is not like it's not like light stuff.
No.
And then you've got the thing where it's like you applying the sort of not quite the same like modern political stuff onto it. There is like I say, it's kind of these modern Orientalist ideas about the two different types of Muslim that exist.
Yeah.
It's strange.
It's
and
complicated.
like you get into Kingdom of Heaven, and that's that's like we were saying last week, we get into we're not necessarily talking about the Third Crusade here, are we, mate?
Yeah. It's very much like using the backdrop of the Third Crusade to talk about post 9/11 Iraq War and also Palestine. I just thought that went in there.
Yeah.
While also Orlando Bloom
gets
gets good at Civilization for some reason, or Stardew Valley.
Yeah, he gets yeah.
He's like, have you heard of irrigation?
Yeah, that's true. Have you heard of irrigation? I suppose the thing with El Cid is like it is interesting to see this kind of subject matter before 9/11. Like,
yes.
like you like we can see this this kind of different.
Yeah, because like
it's like a different kind of insanity.
Yeah. But it's also like 61. If I think of like what the quote unquote scary Muslim threat at the time is, it's more like secular Arab nationalists, more like more than like the quote unquote Islamists of like the that comes out of the failures of Arab socialist
Yes.
states. Because I feel like pretty certain Nasser is alive at this time, so he'd be. I think the Libyan revolution with the Gaddafi and his crew taking over was like very recent. I think just said when this movie came out, so But also, it's obviously like drawing on like centuries old representations. Just because
I suppose that is true.
Because
I had not quite considered that yet.
Because the idea of like Westernness is born out of like the contrasting with the Islamic world. See Edward I. Said's book Orientals.
It's on the Ultra Q recommended reading list.
Yeah.
By now,
along with Dune.
Dude.
Which is ironic.
About
to say that it feels.
Should we give you a good segue then?
A good segue. I have not finished Dune.
Okay.
But the only thing I have is that I've caught up with Kagurabachi.
Oh, okay. I still have not read that.
Kagurabachi, once again, I'm back to just say that Kagurabachi's kind of just what Shonen Jump should aspire to be, generally speaking. Like there are a couple of masters that can aim beyond this, but when you're doing like the shonen battle stuff, I really think that this is kind of this. It's not really. I would not describe Kagurabachi as often like good, but it is cool and sick as hell. So it's like there's a certain level of simplicity to just what it's aiming for that I really think a lot of shonen battle manga should really try to aim for. They should maybe pull back their ambitions a little. I don't think Horikoshi, you actually know anything about society. I'm sorry, man. Naruto guy, I can't Kishimoto. I also think maybe you don't actually know that many things about society. I think maybe you shouldn't have this big war arc at the end. I think maybe that's dumb. And Kagurabachi is we've had 2 arcs. Well, I suppose we had like a little introduction, and then we had like a solid arc, and then we had another solid arc. I would describe both of those arcs as good. It's like the simplicity of we got a bad guy. We build up the bad guy. We have a final climactic confrontation with the bad guys, and it's we've established stakes. We've established what we're here for, what everyone's goal is, and we're gonna go through that, and the good guys are gonna win, most of the time. And then we're going to move on to the next arc. And have I thought up what the next arc is going to be yet? Probably not. No. We'll get to that when we get to that. And so there is a certain amount of like, we don't have a solid plan, but we have a structure that suits not having a solid plan. Because we can just kind of keep this going. We have entered a third arc, which begins to get into these sometimes, a shonen battle mangaka gets in their head that they have ideas about society, and they don't. And Kagurabachi might have an idea or two about society, and it doesn't. I promise you it doesn't. So it shouldn't try to do that. We'll see. I like the antagonist that they've got at the minute. I like it. I don't, they could screw it up quite easily. But for now, I think Kagurabachi is a good time. It is straightforward and thoroughly incompetent often, in a way that is like it's good to occasionally read a manga where you can't really keep track of what's going on to make you appreciate good manga. But I also just I kind of like Kagurabachi. It's pretty good. I like it. I like the guys. I think it was really funny how quickly the main character stopped being an edgelord.
That was my major takeaway of, like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep up with this one, but I'm happy that didn't stick.
It's like immediately he's like, oh, being an edgelord sucks, dude.
That's fine.
I don't like it.
I'm the Joker, baby.
I'm the Joker. Shut the fuck up. What are you doing?
I rewatched that video recently, and I always forget about the part where he does the, well, hello, beautiful, but it's to, like, a 10-year-old girl.
Oh my god.
Worst.
My god. This is my Joker. But yeah, that was me. I don't have anything more about Kagurabachi. I don't have anything more that I have done. I'm in the middle of lots of things.
I do have a note. I'm not going to talk about this because, like, I mostly just skimmed it as I have for, like, the last 5 volumes. But manga needs to stop some authors. But this has become enough of a problem that I'm like, what are you guys doing? Stop making the final battle 1/3 of the runtime. What's happening? Because Gundam Thunderbolt's doing the same thing.
Oh my god, it's not good.
This is part of why I have many issues, but this is one of the reasons why I felt tapped out by the end of FMA.
Full Middle Alchemist.
Just fucking both, like, the liberalism and also just like that entire
it's so exhausting.
That last quarter of it is literally just the final battle. And like,
I had described FMA as elevated Naruto to someone, and they were like, no, not Naruto. And then I was like, well, we'll see. And then I got to the bit 3/4 in where it's like, starting next week, the final battle. And I was like, this is Naruto. This is...
I have, not all of them. I feel like actually he's gotten better about this, but, like, I had that Nolan's movies evoke the same thing with me, where it's like, climaxes need to be snappy. Like, I'm exhausted over here. Please speed this up.
The things that Nolan shares with manga.
These are the insights you get from the Ultra Q podcast.
True.
We have
the Nolan Naruto adaptation.
Mm-hmm. The one last thing I'll say about Kagurabachi is that he does draw cool sword fights. He does do that.
Do the powers remain consistently cool for each of those swords?
I could not describe how they were different to each other, but they have different aesthetic themes, and I think maybe that's the ideal.
Now, I'm curious if this guy watched /read Katana Gatari.
It's possible. It's maybe even likely. However, in the second arc, we got a glimpse at what the most powerful sword can do without being drawn, and it was pretty cool. And I was like, this is
did we get
sick.
told does it have a name? Is it named after a famous sword from history?
It's the Shinichi. I don't know if it's named after anything.
I don't know if that's actually a real sword.
Yeah, same. That one's not translated, but the one that was called Cloud Gouger was translated, and I was like, well, what's the Shinichi's name? What's the translation anyway?
Apparently it translates to True Strike.
Okay. Well.
Or True Self. Apparently it could be either or.
Ooh, there we go.
You're not me.
You're not me. The second arc was kind of cool. The ending on it, as far as like bad families go, I think the ending on the second arc is all about how much one family fucking sucks. And I think the ending of it was really good. I think I had a good time. Sometimes Kagurabachi, the endings of like the arcs, the final climaxes, kind of hit in ways that I'm like, oh, I didn't expect it. Like that time when I came on this podcast and I said I've read 18 chapters of Kagurabachi. By the way, this chapter of Kagurabachi where they have the climactic duel in the first arc, and half of the panels are just cutting away to them having tea together, which isn't really happening, and they're discussing what each of them, their relationship with the main character's dad. and you know, and all the while you've got a timer going, because like the duel's gonna be like 10 seconds. They've only got 10 seconds left in them. Man, Kagurabachi's kind of fucking sick.
Do you think they're gonna have a time skip?
I don't know. It's too early to say.
You gotta have a tournament arc, you gotta have a time skip. These are the rules.
I don't... It's a good question. I do think there was a certain... Okay, there is a certain grounded kind of practicality to a decision that was made at the end of the second arc that I was kind of surprised by, that I do now want to talk about, which is, like, the main character is trying to keep these swords, is trying to collect these swords that his dad made, and are now in the hands of villains. The government, the Kaminabi, have the sword, the wielders of those swords, and the swords are tied to the wielders, the sword masters. If you kill the sword masters, you can inherit the sword, and so the aim of the bad guys is to assassinate the sword masters, and so there's kind of a stalemate going on, and the main character's like, this stalemate needs to be resolved. Like, these swords, I can't. He kind of has this realization he can't actually do this himself. He can't just be a cool hero guy on his own. And he's like, I'm going to sign up with the Kaminabi, and I'm going to work with them. And then he's got this kind of thing with them where he's like, once we've collected these swords, you and I are going to become enemies again, because I don't want you to have them. But until then, we are going to work together. And I was like, this is like a practicality here that I appreciate. I don't know. There's something about it. Anyway, that's Kagurabachi. We're done. Should we talk about fucking Ultraman?
Yeah.
So I got some summaries. You know what? Before I do summaries, I haven't had a drink this whole time. I'm gonna grab a drink. Give me a second.
You know what? I'll join you.
I will join you as well.
In the mic. There we go. All right.
I need to think of what the next thing I need to watch. My list of movies I plan to watch.
Oh. Man, I haven't watched a movie in a minute.
I think learning I could just pause a movie and come back later today helps a lot, especially for ones that are fucking 3 hours.
Yes. Yes.
I'm back. I spilled.
You spilled? What did you spill? What have you got? What are you drinking?
Diet Pepsi.
Okay, I got a Diet Coke. We're ideologically
Oh
opposed.
no, we have to kill. I'm gonna kill you.
I have to kill you.
Mel, who are you siding with to end the stalemate?
I'm gonna be like El Cid. I'm gonna choose any of you.
Damn.
Oh no. Now you have to ride into battle dead.
He does do that.
It's kind of the coolest thing about El Cid, but it is also like the epitome of Christian knighthood, casting aside the evil African hordes, and I'm like, well.
Do y'all know about that skeleton that was attached to that like camel that was like a cryptid until it turned out to be like a real thing?
No.
From American folklore?
No.
In Arizona, there is this thing called the Red Ghost in like the late 19th century-ish.
That's me.
And people are like, yeah, there's a camel around here. There's like a skeleton attached to it. And everyone just is like, oh, that's like a made-up like story thing. Until actually someone tracked down it was actually just a guy tied to a camel that was left to decay as it walked around.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was gonna say that it is funny that the entire movie, their like motivation is, we want peace in Spain, which doesn't mean absorbing all of our Muslim neighbors.
That's just how peace works.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Don't look up what Spain did immediately after.
No. Alcid's already dead. He's our guy. He's,
Yeah.
Once he died, you can stop paying attention.
It is
History just ends when the credits roll.
It is
exactly.
It is spooky that fucking the Conquest of Grenada was the same year that Columbus set sail.
Oh shit, was it?
Yes.
That's fucking crazy.
It's really like cursed in a way.
That's like, man, it's time to get going. I guess this is kicking off.
It's a straight line. That's the thing when you look at the literature. It's just like, oh, they just kept going to Mexico.
Yeah. Okay. Ultraman Taro, episode 23, is called The Gentle Monster Father, or The Gentle Kaiju Father. I wrote monster instead. I usually write kaiju. Oh well.
You know what I'm gonna say? Mm-hmm. This episode is a level of bonkers comparable to Elves.
It's true. Featuring Mirage Kaiju Lordra. Kenichi and Saori are on a trip with the family of Rokuro, a classmate of Kenichi's. The father is a mild man who tolerates his loathsome, nagging wife. The whole journey, she keeps telling him to speed up, take this exit, take that shortcut, get me an ice cream, stop being pathetic. At a pit stop, Rokuro confesses that he finds his parents embarrassing and wishes his dad would control his mother. Kenichi and Saori are like, haha, that's so funny. Our mother's dead and we never see our dad. Rokuro says he'd rather have a strong, absent dad than a weak dad. A jeep full of youths that mocked the slow driving of Rokuro's dad reappear without their jeep. There's a kaiju up ahead, and it melted our car, they say. And the mother insists, this is a trick. We should drive on, heedless of the warning, and they do. They see a weird shadow on the ground, and the father explains, that's a mirage, like in the desert, caused by the refraction of light. People on the ocean, sailors used to think that mirages were the breath of a giant clam. Kenichi and Saori are impressed by this knowledge right up until the so-called mirage attacks them and melts the car. The people weren't melted, though. Everyone escapes with their life. The mother says, we still had monthly payments left, and the car melted because you drove too slow. If only Jiro were here.
I need a movie where this couple goes through The Zone from Stalker.
Oh my god!
It's just like
right now, hang on. Let's be honest. That's not really that much different to the movie Stalker.
Yeah, that's true.
That one guy complains a lot.
True.
Well, no, the difference is in Stalker, it's because he's a writer, and in this show, it's because she's a woman.
Yeah, she's a loathsome woman.
Gender is happening.
Yeah, their kind cannot be trusted with high stress. This must be the work of a kaiju, perhaps a giant clam kaiju. Time to call Zat. Zat arrives, but the mother persuades the victims of the attacks to drive Zat away, declaring that we should instead use the kaiju's power for a business enterprise. And then the road collapses and the kaiju appears and starts attacking, and Zat launches their attack. The mother is like, what a waste. Even nuclear power could be used for peace.
Where'd that come from?
The kaiju uses... Yeah. The kaiju uses a nose spray to melt the sky whale and the condor. Zat deploy a melting spray weapon of their own, but the wife interferes again, and all of Zat's weapons, and even the Wolf 777, get melted. The mother wants to calm down the kaiju and gets sucked up by it instead, and is hanging on to the nose for dear life. The father uses a tree branch to catapult his way up to the nose to rescue his wife.
They get a lot of mileage out of this tree.
Yes. Kotaro follows suit with a bamboo spear and stabs the kaiju in the eye, and all three get thrown off. On the way down, Kotaro turns into Taro, catches the couple, and puts them down somewhere safe. The fight is on. Taro has a kick beam. Yep. He dismembers the kaiju, but the limbs attack Taro, and the kaiju reforms, and the fight continues. Next, Taro kicks off the nose, and we have a beam battle, and then he starts a whirlwind, which throws the kaiju into the air, and it explodes into a shower of tiny toy cars. All the victims are all collecting little tiny toy cars, as though this is a replacement for a real car that you can drive somewhere.
This episode feels like it was written by a 6-year-old. This is what cemented that for me.
Ending.
Kotaro returns to the family where the mother is apologizing for being such a hysterical woman about all this. And Kotaro tells Roguro, "Your dad is strong, see? A truly strong person is normally very gentle." The end. Now, have we met this kid before? Is this kid Dan?
Yeah, that's his
Is
Dan's
this the
actor.
sixth Ultra brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Dan. Hello, Dan. I'm glad to see your life still sucks.
Yeah, well, you know, this is the most Ultraman ace-coded episode of Ultraman Taro we've seen so far.
True.
And that's probably why I thought this one fucking sucked.
Yeah,
What the hell?
this is my least favorite episode of the show.
This is not a good episode of Taro.
think-
This is just man women, right?
I
The
was
episode.
talking with Ultraman friends, and they were like, "Yeah, this is probably like the weakest episode of the show."
So yeah, we've got it's weird because like the only substance the episode has is the wife sucks. That's
She tries
all.
to
That's the
give
entire episode.
She tries to give the kaiju we're talking to, like, what are we doing in this episode?
I'm gonna give this kaiju a few I would like to talk to this kaiju's manager, please.
Also, so much of this episode is just them on the side of, like, they barely move around. Like, it's all, like, they shot, like, 80% of this at the same location. Like, it's,
Yeah.
it feels so phoned in.
We briefly talked about the ending. The toy cars
why
touch
the
is like the only.
Why did kaiju rain Hot Wheels on everyone?
This is like the only part of the episode that I found charming.
I think
was when the kaiju
we-
exploded and it was just little toy cars thrown everywhere, and for some reason a bunch of adults were running around picking up the toy cars. Like, yes, this is made up for the disaster that has befallen me.
Yeah, she does have the good point of like, well, we just paid for this car. What about the insurance?
So yeah, this
is why we need the kaiju insurance.
This is another thing here is that that one line is like really funny, and I do not think it is deserving of the man, what a hysterical woman treatment. I just think that's a really fun thing to react to, be like, our car, it melted. Our money.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that unreasonable a reaction.
No, I'd be pissed.
Her being like, so, okay, everyone, we've lost our cars today. We might have gained something special. We might own this kaiju now, and we can use its power to melt down cars for people. This is an entrepreneur, truly. This is an ambitious lady.
Yeah.
She's watched too much Shark Tank.
What is Shark
also
Tank?
known as Dragon's Den.
Or that.
Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
I see. Yes, Shark Tank.
American names.
Yeah, it's called Dragon's
Yes.
Den in Canada as well.
Oh, okay. Well, you're us still.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Except for the ways we're
Kinda.
not, which is the ways we're American.
Yeah. Who I need to know who made this episode.
Directed by Masanori Kake and then written by Toshiro Ishido. Which out of
Ishido?
yes.
What are you doing,
You
man?
know what my friends told me? At some point in his life, Ishido becomes a right-wing pundit. So
Yes.
Oh.
No, we've talked about this. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I think I've missed this.
I forgot what other episodes he wrote for like precedent in that front.
Yeah, I mostly just know his name as being involved with this show a lot, and I've just liked this show a lot. But
He's
does not.
He's in past.
To be
shows.
fair, that does not preclude someone from being a weird right-wing nut. I have been known to like fiction by right-wingers. This happens.
You want to know something really funny actually about Toshiro Ishido? I found out while doing background research for these episodes.
What?
Go for it.
He's the dad next episode. That's him.
Oh, that's hilarious. He just wrote himself in for a little bit part where he dies. That's cool. Spoilers, dear listener.
He didn't even he wasn't even behind that episode. Someone else decided. Like, yeah, let's put him in.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Put him in to die. That's pretty good. Yeah, there's not really much to say about this episode. It's just kind of fucking. The entire time I was like, I wish Jiro was here.
Yeah,
he'd have fun with this. He'd be like, you should keep control of your wife, dude. You shouldn't let her talk to you like that.
He would also eat that ice cream weird.
He would eat that ice cream weird. He would do that.
As we established in the last time he showed up.
Yeah. Who did the other stuff on this episode?
Special effects director is Takashi Ohira, and then Lordro is designed by Yoshio Suzuki.
Lordro is I don't know about Lordro. It's sort of
I'm not a fan.
I'm not big on Lordro. Oh well. Do we have anything more to say about this episode? It sounds like no, which is unfortunate.
What the fuck? It's just, we'd be writing in circles probably.
I would not describe this as a good episode. I did have a great time watching it.
I like the part where Kotaro bamboo jumps onto the kaiju.
It's not a very big branch. It's like a really unconvincing catapult. Okay. In which case, we can move on to the main event of this week, which is this big two-parter.
Yeah.
Episode 24, This is the Land of Ultra. Is it?
Yes.
All right. Featuring great space kaiju Mururoa. A European country, it would be us, has tested a human extinction weapon in space.
I'm pretty sure Brexit happened.
Yeah. Listen, we would call something the Tron bomb. That would be us.
I like how the plot of R1 happens again, but with worse consequences.
Yeah. A European country has tested a human extinction weapon in space called a Tron bomb. It was launched at a distant planet called Mururoa to avoid dangerous radiation.
This is evil. I wouldn't inflict Tron on my worst enemy.
Damn.
See, where I went with this joke was the Mega Man Legends character.
Tron bomb. So yeah, we got a big extinction level weapon launched at a remote little place to avoid, because we deemed it fine to irradiate. I see what we're doing here.
Yeah.
A French spaceship that was against the experiment was nearby the explosion, but outside the explosion radius, and yet it was destroyed nonetheless. The last message it sent was Space Moth. Curious. We meet the Iwamori kids, who are 6 siblings called the 6 Ultra Brothers. They've all got a different Ultra Brother sticker on their bag, and their parents literally call them Zoffy and Ultraman, etc. They also have a dog named Gulliver. Anyway, the parents are going away on a trip, and they say one last goodbye to all of them, one by one. But Shiro, who is Ace...
I do think it's funny that Ace is the one who's the kid who sucks.
Yes.
I'm happy we all noticed this.
Ace is a moody kid, and he doesn't say goodbye. Also, this goodbye is recorded. This will be important later. The plane that the parents catch gets fucking exploded. A swarm of moths leaves dust on the plane's windows, and then a giant moth kaiju sprays something that melts the wings, and the plane crashes, everyone dead. On his way back from the crash site, Kotaro encounters one of the weird moths. Also of note, the lieutenant shaved just as he had grown into the mustache. His mustache had just grown in, and now he's shaved it again. Rip. Anyway. The paparazzi dogs that they are outside the Iwamori house trying to bother the children. They listen to the recording of the last goodbye, and Shiro flees just as Kenichi arrives with flowers. Kenichi fetches Kotaro, and they go to search for Shiro. In the search, the moths appear. It's a swarm of them, and the kaiju arrives in turn. Kotaro summons the children, and Shiro appears. The other kids kind of push him and go yeah, why the fuck you run away? Shiro says, the reason he was so upset was because he didn't even say goodbye on the night their parents left. The sun rises as the kaiju starts wrecking buildings with melting spray, and it even melts the sky whale as well. And I'm like, come on, guys, can't we space these out a little? We had a melting guy last time. Kotaro turns into Taro.
They found out how to do a specific effect really well,
Yeah,
and they're like,
there's like the bubbles in 7.
This is like Bubbles. Yeah, this is like Bubbles in 7. Kotaro turns into Taro and slides across the ground to catch the falling sky whale. This is cool. Zat are safe, and now the fight is on. The kaiju uses a huge fire and smoke attack and then starts melting Taro. Taro is forced to turn back into Kotaro. The smoke from the kaiju's attack covers all of Japan, and then the whole Earth, and then the entire world. No, what? Sorry, no. The smoke from the kaiju's attack covers all of Japan, and then the whole Earth. The entire world is shrouded in darkness. What now? Mother of Ultra appears to revive Kotaro to save the world from this darkness. How? The tool he needs is in the land of Ultra. And I'm like, not the land of light? And the Mother of Ultra says, the land of Ultra, shut up. Taro flies to space through the smoke, taking the long journey to the land of Ultra. And once there, we get to witness the land of Ultra. And the first thing we learn is Taro has a rabbit dog called a rabbit dog. He has had this since childhood. When did that childhood happen? What the fuck is this Jetsons-looking land of Ultra? Is this what the design contest was all in aid of? All these questions and more to be answered. Next episode, to be continued. Well, he has a dog?
And it's not like a weird alien-looking thing. It's just a dog.
It's
just hanging.
He's had this since childhood. We watched him get born.
No, I have it. I have what happened.
You have what happened?
Yes.
Do you want to do it now, or do you want to save it until after the summary of next episode?
Save.
Okay. Shall I just go straight into the summary of next episode? We can talk about the whole thing.
So.
All right. Episode 25. Burn the 6 Ultra Brothers, featuring the 5 Ultra Brothers and Great Space Kaiju Mururoa. The world is in a dire state. There's an electricity restriction in Tokyo, food and water shortages, eternal darkness beneath the smoke, and to top it all off, Kotaro is missing. Zat investigates a lighthouse where the moths have appeared. They're gathering because of the lights, but the lighthouse guy's like, no, we can't turn the light off. That'd be too dangerous for shipping. And Zat attempts to defend the lighthouse until the kaiju itself, appears. We once again get to see Ueno's sick moves, like when he did 80 backflips that one time. But unfortunately, not even parkour can save the day. Zat has to retreat, and the kaiju melts the lighthouse. Zat has to consider the situation. The kaiju hates light, but the moths seek light out. The kaiju must be using the moths to find and destroy sources of light. Perhaps the bomb caused a mutation of life on Mururoa. Ueno decides enough is enough. It's time to use the AZ-1974. It's untested and has no remote detonator yet, but it has the short-range power of 3 H-bombs, and we could just use a timer. Zat, as heroic as all of our Ultra Guards, mankind may become extinct if nothing is done. So we have to use the weapon. But the lieutenant insists it isn't time to use the AZ-1974 yet. The Iwamori family are low on water, so Big Brother Zoffy is going to go to the water pump at Kenichi and Saori's place. Once he's got water, Kenichi offers to return with him. They see a truck with its headlights on, a violation of Zat's new no-lights rule. It must be a water cellar. They both observe how disgraceful it is that someone would try to profit off the water shortage. Meanwhile, the water cellar sets off again in the truck, but moths appear and cover the headlights, and he hits Zoffy in the dark. Zoffy goes to hospital, but with only candlelight, the hospital can't operate. Nanbara patrols the industrial zone and finds the whole thing lit up and working despite the ruling against lights. A factory worker tells Nanbara to fuck off, they're busy. The moths attack and the kaiju appears and starts melting shit. Zat deploys and Ueno gets permission to use the AZ-1974 with a timer. They drop Ueno with the bomb and a parachute, and he Shadow of Colossus's the kaiju. He sets the bomb, leaps, pulls the cord, and his parachute gets caught on the kaiju. The bomb will go off in 3 minutes. What are they gonna do? Also, wait, why isn't it dark anymore? Well, let me tell you what Taro's been up to. I gotta take a drink for this. We're getting a lore dump. I hope you're ready to keep up. At the Land of Ultra, we get introduced to a primary school and a swimming pool, and I'm like, this was all stuff submitted to the contest, right? Did the fucking audience get to decide what the Land of Ultra looks like? Yes, they did.
You can see the
Taro
school
met
bus.
the Ultra Brothers. Yeah, the school bus is there. I did see the school bus go by in the background. Taro met the Ultra Brothers, and Zoffy filled them in on some history. 30,000 years ago, their son died, and the Elders of Ultra invented the artificial sun plasma thing, spark. And then there was a war, and the father of, led by Alien Emperor, which is Alien Emperor. There was a bunch of kaiju invaded, and the father of Ultra got injured and met the mother of Ultra. And this is a quote. In this manner, the Intergalactic Defense Force was established. In what manner? What are you talking? Anyway, to commemorate the Liberation War, the Ultra Tower, that's capital L, capital W, the Ultra Tower was built, and within the Fire of Life lies the Bell of Ultra.
This is Dark Souls!
Which is set to create peace in space. I was about to read my next. There's also a second bell downstairs. The brothers had to get that bell and use it to save their second home, Earth. Why is Earth their second home? I would love to know. The 6 of them combined to create the Ultra Hextuple fusion because a high-density body is needed to pass through the burning Ultra Flame, capital U, capital F. Once there, they collected the bell and they flew off into space to head to Earth. I hope you got all that because it will all definitely still be true the next time we go to the Land of Ultra. By the way, why is Zoffy alive? When Taro and his brothers arrived at Earth, they rang the Bell of Ultra and cleared away all the smoke. The sudden daylight drove the kaiju into a frenzy, and now we're back with we're back in the present. We're back with the stranded, panicking Ueno, who seems like he might suffer from an irrational fear of dying in an explosion. Taro flies down and rescues Ueno, has a quick fight with the kaiju, and then throws it into the sky, where it peacefully explodes with the power of 3 hydrogen bombs. The Ultra Brothers take the bell back home, and Taro returns to Earth. Peace once more. And Kotaro greets the Kid Ultra Brothers on their way to school, including Zoffy, who did not die. Kenichi joins them, as does Saori, and Kotaro calls her a sleepyhead. The end.
I'm happy the parents
I don't know about all this lore.
They did.
The parents did not come back.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
I don't know that all this lore was necessary.
Load-bearing Ultraman lore.
The fact that they had the drawings of the history of the war was the part where I went, okay,
Yeah,
what the hell?
I think
if you haven't watched this episode, during Zoffy's speech about what happened in the Land of Ultra and its history is like accompanied by these like painted images of like Ultra beings going about their life as though they were just
like Greco-Roman
regular
architecture in the background.
There's
Yes.
this image of like the Ultras training by like wrestling in the background while Father of Ultra holds a child Ace sucking his thumb.
Yes!
It's so stupid. It's fucking incredible. This is like this is such a bizarre addition to an episode because it's just they're just like, oh, it's gonna be the big reveal on what the Land of Ultra is, and it's just fucking it looks like 50s sci-fi land.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
I kind of dig that.
It's really underwhelming.
I kind of like how tacky it is, but also that's because I have like future knowledge of what the contemporary depiction is.
Oh, true.
And I'm like,
true. You've got the cleaned up
there's
version.
there's a charm to how absolutely bonkers this is.
This is so fucking. The moment he cleared the clouds and I saw what the Land of Ultra was, I was like, no.
There's a swimming pool with a torch in the middle of it.
The swimming pool killed me. I was like, no, it's not.
This is the swimming pool where Taro would hang out would go swimming with his friends. Again, we watched him be born. He hasn't left Earth.
No. Here's my theory. They're beings of light, and so they experience time differently, and so
that's so true.
I thought you were going to say
true.
that like the light of their soul resides in the Land of Light / Ultra, and then gains
even
the
when they travel
corporeal-
somewhere else.
I
see.
And then they gain when they're born, they gain the corporeal form.
yeah.
But their souls are eternal.
I was just thinking that maybe
and
like
then they return to there to be reborn
that, like,
again.
Yes.
in Planck time, he experienced his full childhood, and then was able to like transfer the Kotar's body, but also maybe he is just superpositioning. Maybe there's quantum mechanics at stake.
Maybe this is all fucking made up. This is the fakest. Right. There's a YouTube channel called Cool Ghosts, which used to be something else, and which had its weird finale. It was like a Matt Lee's. It was like him and Quinns from, I guess these days Quinns is from People Make Games. And they were doing video game stuff. And in one of their Cool Ghosts episodes, Matt was talking about fantasy stories and how a lot of the onboarding is kind of weird because this weird lore that you've made up and means a lot to you sounds fucking stupid when you say it out loud to someone else. And so this whole thing where it's just this fucking and then there was the war with the Emperor in, alien Emperor invaded, and there's a bell, and you ring the bell and it creates peace, and so we need the six Ultra Brothers to fuse into one, 6 in 1 to create the hextuple fusion so that we can pass through the Ultra Flame, because you need a high density body and you can only last a minute in this density, and then you have to get the bell out and then go and ring it, and that creates the bell creates all kinds of peace. And what does that mean?
The bell recognizes the pureness of their 6 hearts.
Yes, the bell has to recognize the pureness of their 6 hearts.
Ultra movie theaters.
This is like it's just complete. It's stuff that is just clearly not real in a way that, like, I don't know.
What, you don't think the people writing the original scripts for Ultraman didn't think to include Pax Campana in the notes?
I'm just he starts reeling this off, and I'm like, this isn't gonna be real the next time we come to this place, so I need you to stop.
I'm curious, like, to what degree stuff becomes the real lore, because at some point they're gonna, like, actually clean things up and commit to it, but, like, what sticks and what doesn't, we'll see.
I feel like that alien they referenced is going to show up in, like, a show, I'm assuming much later on, as, like, a bad guy or something, because that seems like something...
That's what you would do, yeah.
That's something a kid watching this show would latch onto for, like, way too hard, and then as an adult be like, I'm gonna be the one to tell that story.
I suppose also that's the only bit that feels relevant to the show Ultraman, is the bit where the army of kaiju invade, and
they have to become the space police,
and then the Ultramen have to become the space police. Yeah. I guess the other part that feels that feels fitting for Ultra is when the Land of Lights. Okay, I will give this lore dump one thing. I like that the Land of Light's sun is gone, and that they had to make their own.
Yeah, it's fun just being like, oh yeah, it exploded and people died and it sucked.
Lord Gwyn.
Lord Gwyn, the father of Ultra, has to set himself on fire, and then a new Ultraman has to become the father of Ultra. One day it will be Zophi's fate to link the fire, or else if he's maybe wise and understands the course of history, he will neglect to light the flame and will become the Lord of Darkness instead.
I forgot Zophi standing next to Father of Ultra and that like that.
It's good.
I think
fucking great.
I think there's let me look up his name again.
I need a scholar of the first sin of Ultraman so fucking bad.
Oh man.
A lie will remain a lie.
Don't mind me. I'm trying to find the guy's name. Yeah. I believe the mangaka is Mamoru Uchiyama. I think just looking at his art style. because he's been doing a bunch of manga stuff for Ultraman at this time. And also, he's the guy who did the panels in the good episode of Ultraman Ace with the mangaka who go crazy.
Oh yeah. One of the better episodes of Ultraman. Period. Yeah.
I think I recognize his art style here. I think that's him, which makes sense because
cool.
He's
associated. He's affiliated.
Yeah, and we take a peek at his stuff maybe eventually. But anyway.
Cool. So yeah, the rest of these now that I don't know if we will maybe loop back to the dumb lore. We'll get maybe. But the other things going on in this episode is sort of apocalyptic end of the world stuff. That feels a little low on like apocalypse.
Yeah.
I do kind of like the forebodingness of the sun is gone.
So I do like, especially the part that I like is the when they start talking about like people are starving. I do kind of like that as a background pressure, but the thing that I kept thinking about is like I would have shot this way differently. It doesn't feel ominous enough, I think, and especially I would have played around with like the dark moths flying around in like the pitch black like night of it, and like the moths are shot in a way that just I don't think gives them enough menace. They're just kind of there.
It's weird because we came off 2 episodes last week. The first 2 episodes of the 3 we watched last week did have the kind of atmosphere that you'd kind of want from an episode like this, maybe.
Yeah.
But yes, I do like the kind of like little touch of like getting into like sci-fi stuff where like I like the team struggling to kind of resist this kaiju, the whole like turning off, we got to turn off all the lights, and like dealing with the reality of that, where like we got like the factories out in the industrial zone is just like, well, no, we have to run, things have to fucking run, we have to use electricity, we have to turn on the lights, fuck your rules.
People need headlights if they're driving around to see.
And then the guy selling water, that's the kind of thing that is like that, those little like sci-fi
flourishes,
those little consequences of those of the big sci-fi idea of like the big enshrouding cloud. I think it's cool.
I like the core emotional part of this episode. Like I actually think the stuff with the kids that they mostly center on is done pretty well in terms of just being like,
it's gonna be really goofy when it's just like, oh, they're all named after the Ultra Brothers for some reason, and then it becomes like an actual thing with stakes, especially because they do use the real names interchangeably enough.
Yeah. Or just like the idea that's like, oh, like I was being a spoiled little brat and now I'll never get to talk, like I was being grumpy and annoying and I didn't realize that would be the last time I'd ever talk to my mom and dad ever, and like having that weigh on the head of like a 6-year-old or however the fuck old he is, like that's rough. And I'm just happy that this didn't end with, oh, and everyone on that plane was fine. Like these kids are orphans now.
Yeah.
We got to find that lady from Return of Ultraman to
take her in.
Yeah,
take them in. They'll be
I don't even remember her name. I feel bad
Rumiko.
now. Rumiko. Yes.
Rumiko, here's 6 more children that you didn't want.
You know what? I will say, recasting Saori instead of finding someone around the hallway is a lot better.
This yeah, it is better to just be like, the audience can handle a recast. They can handle it. It's fine. We'll live. Yeah, I did quite like the touch where we got to see like the goodbye to the kids, but we don't get to see anything about the parents actually going to catch that plane or on that plane. It's just that, we find out that they were on that plane. There's like nothing, there's no, like, we don't follow them at all. We just get what the kids have.
Yeah.
What their last goodbye, and that's it. I thought that touch was nice.
Yeah, imagine the last. Imagine you're like 20, and you're going to university, and the last like memento you have of your mom is a recording of her being like, "Now 7, be a good boy."
Now, you gotta explain. Like someone catches you listening to it, you gotta explain. No, she's talking to me. I'm Ultraseven.
I'm Ultraseven.
One
And if you
of them
make fun
now,
of me for this, I'll eye slugger you.
You turn up and you tell someone, "Oh yeah, I'm Shin Man," and they're like, "Who's that?"
Shit, man.
I don't know who that is anymore.
Ain't that the show with the little kid?
Shin Man? Yes, Shin. Yes.
I like how they were like the Kai Takeda Ultraman, also known as Shin Man.
Yes.
Where Kai Takeda Ultraman is
Return of
Ultraman.
This kid is called this. We call the kid Return of Ultraman. Everyone else is like, yeah, I love this idea about, in order of ages, each of us gets to be one of the Ultraman, and the like, what is it, fourth kid is like, I don't like this idea. What do you mean you don't like this idea? Return of Ultraman.
Yeah,
I think you could probably translate it as like Returning Ultraman or something, but like it is funny. It's just like the name of the show.
Yeah, I think my kids will appreciate my naming scheme. What do you think, Dead Zone or The World's Strongest?
Yeah.
I have not watched those movies at all.
Well, okay, this is, there's still more here,
Yeah.
but like, we can go into who made this.
This was made, so funnily enough, I realized that I did background work for the wrong episode, but I lucked out because, this is written and directed by the same set of people for the two-parter, and then that also means that next week I don't have to do as much research. So both these were directed by Eizo Yamagiwa and then written by Shigemitsu Taguchi.
Okay. Well, it's,
Yeah.
It's weird how, well, it's not weird, it makes sense, but it's like, I think it's kind of a bit of a letdown how much of this is devoted to just being like, we're going to explain what the Land of Ultra is. We got the audience to design it like lunatics.
I don't feel like... I feel like this monster is a little under, like, I like the backstory, and I mean, it's the Ultraseven classic thing of, we tested a rocket where we really should not have done that. Well, I guess in Ultraseven, they actually just blew that planet up, never mind.
This is just the episode where, Ultraseven slashed that kaiju's throat.
Yeah. And like, I like that backstory and background well enough, but I also don't know if, like... I feel like this monster does not get treated with the gravity it maybe deserves in, like,
yes,
how it's shot and the way that it's talked about. Like, they're talking about this and dealing with this as if this was just another one of the, like, episode of the week, like, monsters. I feel like we need a little more weight. It's weird.
I would like to point out how bizarre that is, considering that it is literally named after an island where there was French nuclear weapons testing.
Oh, yeah, that's...
It is funny.
Like, it is that direct.
It is funny that they specifically call out, there's a French spaceship that did not like the test that gave us a warning.
But also, we'll just gesture to the idea that it was a European country that did it. Yeah, it's, so this is directly named after, an island, an atoll where there was French nuclear weapons testing. So, like, this is a very direct thing to kind of kill in a funny way. To kind of, like, throw it into the sky and then it explodes with the power of 3 hydrogen bombs.
Yeah.
And the Ultra Bell.
And the Ultra Bell. Now, the bit where it's kind of like, it is a, like, cataclysmic, like, world-ending event where it's like, this big, all the smoke around the world, it's polluting the earth, right?
Yeah.
And that ties into the nuclear metaphor.
Yeah.
And the one bit of this episode where I was like, okay, we're having fun here, where it's like, they're talking about like why the kaiju wants to destroy sources of light. There's like, does the kaiju have some kind of weird fixation on finding and destroying bright sources of light? And I'm thinking about like the giant explosion that destroyed its planet.
Yes.
But it kind of comes out a little weak when we ring a bell, we clean up all the smoke, and then we vanquish the nuclear metaphor kaiju with a weapon of the power of 3 hydrogen bombs. And it's fine.
Me watching threads, I could have solved this. I just needed 5 guys who need to go to the land of light.
Yeah, exactly. It comes off as like in bad taste a little. I say a little. It comes off as just kind of like there's an idea here, and then it doesn't really follow through.
Yeah.
This feels weirdly too many cooks in the. This feels weirdly too many cooks in the kitchen, or like, I think these ideas would have been done better separately, and it's really weird when they get mixed together like this.
The nuclear metaphor that needs to be destroyed by the super weapon that terrorizes the kids, who are all named after the Ultra Brothers, while the real Ultra Brothers go back to the Land of Light and talk about the war, and have to go into the tower to get the bell to save the Earth.
It's
it's a lot of pieces that don't fit together.
And Taro has a dog.
You put jelly beans in my omelet. What are you doing?
Taro has a dog.
He played with it all the time as a kid.
Put this stupid fucking dog prop on like some wires and like rub it up against his face when he's flying. It's so fucking funny.
Just know it's in this order.
Hey, fantastic! That's what we like to hear.
Also, I feel like the sword of this time is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Taro Kaijus have been weird.
No, I just mean in terms of numbers.
Oh.
Let me see just real quick.
Are we already really high?
We're already at 36.
That's funny.
I do feel like we've been getting more like multi-kaiju episodes in a way.
It's kids' attention spans.
So
the TikTok generation.
I guess it's not too far off from Ace, because like 35 was Yapul, the big Yapul, who died in Ace.
I'm now picturing the idea of Eiji Tsuburai's Ghost watching like all these episodes with multiple kaijus and like talking about it like people talk about TikTok. Like, well, they're poisoning the kids' brains. They don't have attention spans.
Where are we in 7 around this point? This is Alien Kanon. Yeah, Alien Pole. Yeah, I guess we're about that point episode-wise. So maybe that's just normal. Maybe it's just normal at this point.
Mel, are baby Pandra and adult Pandra separate entities on this order?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Only because
we have learned from our mistakes.
Yes, and also because they counted them separately.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair play. All right.
It's entirely arbitrary.
Yes. What do we have anything more to say about this episode? I don't mean that in a way. I don't mean that to say let's stop talking. I do genuinely mean that.
Let me get my trivia out of the way first, because Brad did his.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot.
So both kaiju, hold on. Special effects director for both episodes is Kazuo Sagawa. The kaiju was designed by Yoshi Suzuki. Apparently, the Tsuburaya Productions accounting department was not pleased with this kaiju because the suit was very expensive to make.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't look like it.
I'm gonna pull up Mururoa. I need to know. That's the island again. Kaiju.
Maybe it's just because it's like shot in the dark so often that I just didn't notice, but like I don't know.
This is, I think I can see why it's expensive, but I don't necessarily know that it's worth it.
Money doesn't mean quality.
Yeah.
Just look at the PS5 Pro.
That's like $9. Right. The price $700. £700 is like $900.
No disc drive.
No
disc drive.
Just get a computer.
get a computer.
Yeah.
Play PlayStation 1 games on DuckStation on a computer.
Or play
Yeah.
PS2
Like God
games
intended.
on PSSX2.
Go browse the many vast archives of CD romance.
Yeah. Do not call the police.
No.
Nintendo will send a picture to
I
you.
suppose. Yeah, I suppose something that would be very expensive about this kaiju would be the blasting smoke and fire everywhere effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that costs money.
Yeah, we need our fourth kaiju in a row with acid breath.
Yeah, we do. True.
You know, I just realized, did they feel the need to do this weird lore dump because they knew that this would be about, like, roughly the halfway point of the series, and, like, they felt compelled to
guess.
do, like,
I do
a
wonder
big
if they
thing?
just felt like they needed to get a two-part out of the way, and they felt like this was a good chance to do a lore dump. Because, like, you know, I feel like Taro does feel like the show where they want to do that, now that they have brought, like, Mother and all that stuff.
And, like, because we talked about the contest aspect, like, they built up to this. Like, this must have been in the... This wasn't just, like, a spur of the moment, fuck it, let's just write something. Like, they wanted this to be a big thing.
Yeah. That's something I don't necessarily have
it's
the
weird.
context for, but, yeah. It does feel like the kind of thing where, like, if you're a kid who's been watching, I guess, since Return of Ultraman, is like a blow in your mind kind of thing. Or even like
True.
the older kids who were like, yo, oh yeah, I saw the original show, or like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you're like in the context where you're like reading the magazines, you're reading all the manga that are out, because there's like, you know, 500 Ultraman manga running around apparently.
Damn.
There's not an actual number, but there is a lot of it apparently.
No, it's 500. You
Yeah,
can't
that's
back
true.
that. It's
That's
5.
true.
There's gonna be 500 manga coming our way.
Yeah.
What else is going on here? I'm not sure if I have anything, but I think we've kind of touched on.
I think we touched on
everything.
everything.
I like how OG Ultraman is like the daughter.
OG Ultraman is like the daughter. Wait, how? Wait,
In the
okay,
family.
boy,
In the family.
in the family.
Yeah, because the second oldest child is a daughter.
Oh yes. True.
Yeah,
True.
she has to cook everyone's meals now.
Yeah. That's true. I've watched Ultraman. That's just true.
That's what
That's not a
the
joke.
parents said in the recording. You gotta cook everyone's meals.
And you know, that's just how it be in Ultraman.
I like
and in Japan.
I like how two of the kids' names are Jiro and Saburo. Because we gotta get those.
Yes.
We gotta get Saburo.
Yeah. Absolutely. Man. Zoffy was here. Here's Zoffy.
Yeah.
It's good that Zoffy's back. We truly did not touch on the fact that he was dead.
No, don't worry about it.
Do not worry about that.
I'm not convinced that was supposed to be the takeaway even of that episode.
He was totally dead. I'm
I don't
sure
know.
he was dead.
I didn't have that vibe at first.
I think the vibe of the episode was that he was dead, but also he'd get better because they did carry his body back.
Yeah.
And also Taro did die in that 3-parter and come back.
Then what the fuck is that dad of the family talking about with? It's really them that risk their lives. They didn't risk shit. They can come back. They're fine. We're Dragon Ball in this bitch.
Did we talk about how Mother of Ultra kissed Father of Ultra's boo-boos to make him better in the lore dump? that's we get a drawing of her healing him, and that's how they fell in love, apparently.
That's how they fell in love. She healed him.
Yeah, she does show up for like 2 seconds in this 2-parter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She has to save Kotaro. All right, we might be done.
I think we're done.
These episodes are a little mixed. There's some stuff in here that I think is cool. I like the big smoke thing. I like the consequences of that. But I just think it's weird to also jam the fucking reams of lore that you've invented into
I think it's funny
Yeah,
that
like,
stupid.
I think the emotional core of this episode and like the like setting of it are great. It's just the actual plot part is like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
We were gonna have to be confronted with Ultraman lore eventually, though. But you know,
I'm glad that we now have the Ultra Bell, the Bell of Ultra. The Ultra. So
Okay.
we've got the Ultra Bell.
I do want to. We
got
gotta fucking take bets. Does the Ultra Bell ever show up again?
no, I don't feel like it is.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna hold out hope.
I'm saying
I want
this,
the Ultra Bell.
I'm saying this to be clear. I genuinely do not know. So
I want the Ultra Bell to come back.
I'm going with no. I'm going to go with no. The bell's done.
my gut is no, and if it does show up, it's like in some weird side thing that like would
No,
reference
I'm only gonna count TV like the main.
Okay.
Because anyone can make a manga and throw.
Anyone
shit in
can
there.
make. Listen to me, listener. Anyone can make a manga.
Anyone can make a manga.
Anyone can.
Everyone making manga.
You
fuck
just gotta.
I could do that.
You just gotta do it really good and hard and not sleep. And you too can be in Weekly Shonen Jump.
I'm thinking about like that.
Die when you're 55.
Die when you're
that manga, the Yuri manga about the Cupids that kind of blew up, and then people found out after the fact, oh, the person lives in the U.S.
Oh, that's funny. Well, we might be done talking about these episodes. In which case, we can get into our post-episode stuff. Do you have color timers for us, Mel?
Several.
I imagine they get a little bit more involved.
Yeah, so we got episode 23, 2 minutes 43 seconds. Episode 24, Episode 24, 2 minutes 27 seconds, and then 1 minute 28 seconds. Mother Ultra shows up for 1 minute 4 seconds, but also Taro continues to exist through the episode finishing. So we get a total of 21 minutes 47 seconds in episode 25, though there's like a bit at the end of the start of the episode where there's no Taro, so I guess on screen Taro's 14 minutes 30 seconds if you really want to be a purist, but I'm not a purist. So anyway, consolidated, that's 23 minutes 15 seconds. And also the Ultra Brothers are on screen alive for 13 minutes 25 seconds, and they spend 1 minute 32 seconds of that just fused together as one guy.
Nice.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got some run back.
Oh, yeah. We gotta do
last week
that.
because last week was ridiculous.
Yes.
Special effects director Koichi Takano. Ultraseven's episodes 14 to 16. Jinkichi Oki, episode 17, 18, 21, and Toru Motoba 1920. King Joe, suit actor Haruyoshi Nakamura. Apparently the original plan was that King Joe would be formed by hundreds of tiny pieces that manifested like a swarm of bees, and then they realized that he couldn't do that effect.
That sounds hard.
Yeah.
That sounds really hard. The thing that they did was already hard.
Yes. It is funny that multiple times they were like, we should do a bee swarm effect, and they couldn't. So the next one is the alien Anon. Suit actor Haruyoshi Nakamura.
Thank you. Fucking
Utom, suit actor Haru Nakajima, which is fun. Godzilla guy. Anyway, the original plan was to create a more robotic and mechanical style kaiju in the vein of M1, and then they made a cool robot instead of something ugly.
nice.
Alien Bell is suit actor Kunio Suzuki. Goombonga, this is the spider puppet from Planet SpaceX. Apparently Narita wanted to create a spider with transparent insides, ? The body uses the same mold as the transparent shell on Bell's back. Also, this is the place where I give my apologies. This is the kaiju that for whatever reason the Imgur folder didn't accept the picture, and so it's just not in this order in the 7 accidentally, so we missed it. My sins. Anyway. Alien Bado from the weird husband-wife episode. Home invasion episode.
I stand them.
The suit actor is Harukichi Nakamura, but apparently there's a scene involving the kaiju on a trampoline, which is Yukikatsu Okita is the suit actor instead.
I do not remember the scene that
I
would have involved a
don't either.
trampoline.
So I'm like, sure, I'll take your word for it. Apparently the fight scenes in that episode were taking inspiration from the Pro Wrestler boom. I'll take your word for it too. I don't remember that fight well enough. Apparently the scripts also specified the aliens should be ugly, which is why they're like that.
I see.
Real MVP, Alien should play suit actor Taro Aragaki. Very likely named after U.S. astronomer and political activist Harlow Shipley.
Okay, yeah.
The head was sculpted by Ryosaka Takayama, but the body is only described as being created by the Super Eye Production costume department.
Oh, Shipley's the one that brags a bunch and then Soga shoots him.
That's
That's
the member of Daft Punk.
Yeah.
Yes. Honestly, Shipley's design fucking rules.
It's
I
a
love
good
this
one.
head. It's good.
We only see it for 2 seconds, but you know.
Mhm.
Gyaradoris, which is the kaiju Shipley summons. Suit actor Eiichi Matsushima at first, but he bruised his shoulder and couldn't do the suit, so Yoshimi Kato played him instead for the rest of the recording. In that podcast episode, we assumed that was a 2-suit kaiju, but it was actually just a really big suit for one kaiju, and like the one guy was just walking on his knees while the back half of the body dragged behind like a walrus. Also, several 40-watt light balls were used for the luminous parts of the body. And then finally, Red's MVP, Iron Rocks.
Hell yeah!
Produced by the sculpting department at Super Eye Productions. This is also originally going to be a 2-suiter kaiju with Teruo Aragaki and Yoshimi Kato as suit actors, but they thought they wanted the kaiju to look different enough from King Joe, so they made like a sculpture-based kaiju instead.
Cool. Man, I love Iron Rocks. I love the imperial spirit of a country rising out of the sea. It's good.
Yeah. Now, let me check for emails, because I saw a couple.
Nice.
Emails.
Email.
We got one from Cross Zeta.
Hello, again.
Hello, UltraPod Cross Zeta here. In episode 25 of Ultraman Taro, there was an image with the army of monsters and Jamil is there.
Oh.
My question
What?
My question for you is, how did Jamil get there, and what was his role in the army? Anyway, have a good week.
He was the... What? Huh? 30,000 years ago?
Yeah, hold on.
Why is Jamil there?
Cross Zeta sent me this photo yesterday, and I was like, oh, okay. So, they were setting up... the thing.
Okay.
You
Right.
can see him.
This is... Where is What is Jamil? Jamil, what are you doing there?
So the only logical conclusion we can come to is that after Jamila died, it triggered some sort of weird time thing, sending him back to the past, like Bardock in that one shitty OVA.
To tell us about games
yes.
that suck ass.
To tell us the games that suck ass, and to tell the Land of Ultra the games that suck ass.
Yeah.
They didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, there's got to be
No.
some weird time dilation shit happening where he get lost.
It's possible that the time shenanigans happened during the mutation process that Jamila underwent.
Wait, no.
And so, what has... Oh, go for it.
So, we know that humanity is not the first on Earth. It used to belong to the non-melts.
Yeah.
We
True.
know that Jamila became the way he did because that was just the logical evolution and transformation of his body because of that planet he got to. And George Lucas tells us that it's like poetry and that it rhymes. There was a non-malt astronaut that made their way to that same planet and became like a precursor Jamila, who then got roped into the army.
I see.
Maybe
I understand now.
Maybe the Land of Light was Earth all along, and it was just he got sent to
True.
the future. And when they go to their second home, it's actually going to the past. That's
Oh
not,
my
that's
God.
Not what's happening.
No, that's what's happening. We've confirmed. We have sorted out the Ultraman lore.
Yeah.
So Alien Emperor. So presumably that's the thing in the big burning orb.
Yes.
The fucking Sauron.
This looks like a person. This just looks like a person.
Yeah, he's got like a silhouette.
It's got kind of bumpy legs, but it just looks like a person.
Yeah.
If no, obviously this also can't be true because of the 30,000 year thing. But if Alien Emperor was punished Ide, I think that should be true. I think he should have done time travel.
That's why Jamila's there.
Emperor. That's why Jamila's. Yes, absolutely.
Like, we can right the wrongs.
Yeah.
Him and Jamila is like Kirei and Gilgamesh.
I think the specific name is actually Alien Empera. Is the specific name? Just so.
Empera.
Which, you know, obviously
I'm calling him yeah.
What's this thing on the left with the eye stalks again? Because I recognize it, but I'm like, what? I can't place.
That's the thing from Dandaran.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know what that actually is.
It looks familiar, but I kind of forget it. Is it? It might be the. It might be the kaiju that Alien Pole sicked on Ultraseven.
Oh, maybe.
Wasn't that a bird one?
No. It was. It's Gandar. Gandar's the name.
Gandar.
Yeah, it was like a weird. It had wings, but it had eye stalks.
Oh, I see.
Actually, the 7 gallery open, so.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't.
Gandar.
Okay, cool. Cross Zeta. We don't know why the fuck Jamila is there. Yeah, that is absolutely Gandar. But
that looks like a Gandar.
I think we can all, however he got there, I think we can all assume why he's there, which is to punish the Ultraman for their crimes.
He's a cat.
Because someone needs to, much like he was going to punish the UN.
Yeah. Because what are the Ultras but the UN in space?
What are the Ultras but the UN in space? He's going to. I bet they've got a building where they've got a bunch of different flags of different space countries, different planets, and he's going to go to that building, and then he's going to get into a big muddy fight with Ultraman.
I think it's funny that for all the Christianness of Ultraman, they got fucking ever burning torches like they're fucking Zoroastrians there.
Yes, this is true. This is
in their
true.
swimming pools even.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for your email. Is there any more to that email?
No.
Thank you for your email, Cross Zeta.
Yes, thank you.
We got one more email.
One more email
from Sir.
Hello.
Titled I don't know. He says, "Don't have much to say other than I don't know how I managed to both get owned and deliver ownage at the same time with the fireman thing."
This is just how it works sometimes.
I appreciate you taking the time to listen to it there and then. Spoilers, I'll be asking the same thing for you when we get to the end of Taro for Leo's OP, just because it's generally one of my favorite songs in all Togu history, and if you don't end up liking it, I will cry.
We have to agree not to like it.
I've heard that OP. It's
in advance. We will, because we're getting into the 70s. We're getting towards, what year is this?
It's 73, now? So Leo is 74.
Leo is 74. We're getting into the 70s. We're getting good openings for things. Yeah. We're getting good anime OPs.
And then
we're getting good Toku
and then
OPs,
we get like a 5-year gap.
And then we get a 5-year gap. A 5-year plan. The first Stalinist Toku show.
If only.
If only. Well, no. Well, you've watched the closest thing.
That's true.
I was about to say the first Stalinist Toku. Shockingly, not the one called Runman.
No.
We
anyway,
stand Paul Gassari in his house. Thank you.
We do. Thank you for your email.
They said one more paragraph.
Oh.
If my calculations are correct...
I tried to cut them off.
If my calculations are correct, next week you are in for a big lore dump. Well, that's this week. So look forward to learning more about franchise-spanning things next time.
Thank you. We have learned about franchise spanning things. I don't know how much they're going to span the franchise.
That bell's gonna come back.
I suspect there's some things in here that are very much not spanning the franchise anytime soon.
We'll keep We'll keep track.
If they keep all of this, I don't.
It's over.
That's unhinged. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for your email.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your email.
Can you, like, I love also, too, like, this is the most, like, fuck, we're writing shit for, we're not thinking about the past or the present, or we're not thinking about the past or the future, we're thinking of now, is specifically, we need 6 people to merge together. And I love that they just have to stick with that now. It's always gotta be 6 people.
Yeah.
Alright. Is that us done?
Yeah.
I think so.
In which case, you can follow us on Twitter at ultra_Q, that is at ultra_QUEUE, or on Blue Sky, we are at under?
Yeah, we're at under
Hang on.
Q. That's
our
our Australian co-podcast, Under Q.
Yes, at under Q. We are at Ultra Q on Blue Sky with no underscore, so Ultra QUEUE. Mel.
Yeah. So first off, let me just say a couple things to round off before we go. Next week we're at the half point of the show. Woo!
Yay!
Also next week we got another batch of ARC. Woo! I think we're like that's episode 12 to 16 next time.
Okay.
And then also in a couple of days, the Blazer movie will be out for real on Blu-ray, and hopefully someone will put that places.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait and see how that turns out, and then we can finally.
Dear listener, you better.
One, he's gotta. I don't want to fucking listen. It costs too much money for me to import.
Yeah.
I have to go to.
It'll be handled. People have presumably been clamoring for it.
Yeah.
As we have.
And yeah, then they'll figure out the schedule for that once it's actually tangible. But anyway, you can follow me at Your Crowns on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can send an email to the podcast at ultraqpod@gmail.com. And we have the coffee UltraQ Fund. Brad.
Yeah, I'm everywhere at Be Invoked. That's BE_INVOKED on Twitter, which I'm using less and less frequently because I'm mostly over on Blue Sky, which is just Be Invoked, all one word.
Mm-hmm. All right. In which we're done. Goodbye. Join us next time for 3 episodes of Taro and 5 episodes of Arc. 5 episodes of Arc. I don't know why I said it with vibrato. 5 episodes of Arc, 3 episodes of Taro. We will see you there. Goodbye.
Later.
Goodbye.
守れ